Hello, welcome back to the Restoring Balance podcast. I'm your host, Megan Garza, and I'm a holistic health coach who helps women address their digestive and hormonal troubles so that way they can lose the bloat, get clear skin, and have more energy. Go check out my Instagram at Megan Garza Wellness for my latest content. And also in my bio, I have a Linktree link that has a really awesome freebie cheat sheet on how to fix your hormones and digestion. So be sure to check that out and get your free download. Today I'm going to be discussing how to eat healthy on a budget and also other healthy living tips. So I'm not only going to be including just food, but also other ways to make your life a little bit easier and afford a lot of these wonderful things that we need, like soaps and cleaning products and various other things. So first and foremost, this is the most important part of all of this, is manage your money well in the first place. And I know that this is something that people talk about and they don't really give you much of an explanation about, okay, well, how do you manage your money? So just keep track of what's coming in and what's going out and where it's going to. So make a list of your necessities, break it down so that way you are looking at things like your rent, your car payments, gas, food, etc. Get a good idea of how much you're spending on this and then take into accountability of the wants. So fun money, maybe you're going to go on a road trip or go buy yourself something fancy like you've wanted to do for a while. And this really does help you get an idea once you lump both of these things together. Oh, and also like savings for like retirement and emergency funds. So those three categories of wants, needs, and necessities. Savings, I mean, not necessities. So this is really good to really see where your money's going. An app that you can use is Mint. So if you're into like the digital stuff and you want to actually see like a breakdown, and it can look at your bank and give you a little bit more knowledge. But if you're someone who likes to pull out cash and pay for things that way, this isn't really going to be a good option. I am very old fashioned. I like a good old spreadsheet where I can just sit down and just track all my expenses every single month to see what I have to plan and see maybe I have to pay less on this bill that doesn't have any interest, or less on that thing, getting different kinds of foods that are a little bit less expensive but just as good quality. And this is really important because really seeing where your money is going to be the first step of eating healthier and being able to afford eating healthier. The next thing that you can do is keeping a little journal of the food that you buy and total it up. So I've been doing this for about probably 2.5 years, 3 years. And I found this to be really, really helpful because I not only do I not really miss picking up groceries on the list, like, oh darn, I should have gotten that, I totally forgot, because I can just flip back to, the last couple pages, see what I got, and I say, oh yeah, look, olive oil, there we go, I forgot to write that down. But also the fact of you can see your past habits of what you've bought and the amount of money that it's costing you. So this is important because it shows you just exactly what you're buying and how much you're buying of it. So I've totaled mine out, and for my husband and I to eat the way that we do, it comes down to somewhere around $13 to $15 per day per person. And I feel like that's really good because a lot of people spend a lot more money on that, and I feel like we do a really good job of just making the money stretch far. And, you look at the average meal of two people going out to eat and it's like $30, $40, $50. So $13 to $15 a day per person is really not that bad in my eyes for homegrown or for homemade organic food. Another thing that you can do is just buying local and what's in season. So this is going to help you not only not give money to those corporations that are taking over, but to support local people in your neighborhood and to support local farmers and to give your body a break from eating the same exact thing. So if you are constantly eating strawberries throughout the whole year, that's not really eating in season, and it's going to get expensive because they're going to have to import it from other parts of the world. Also, try to look for local co-ops. So a lot of times these farmers will get together with other people and they will do a co-op. So this makes your food a lot cheaper. The food is the exact same quality, probably better because it hasn't been sitting on a shelf in a supermarket for a while. So you can type into Facebook organic produce co-op and then your location. So you would type in like organic produce co-op, South Carolina, and you would come up with a lot of different things on Facebook, and you can connect with people in your neighborhood and just get a feel for it. If you don't have Facebook, maybe try DuckDuckGo or Google if that's your, if that floats your boat. Some good websites that I have used in the past to help me find my food options that are not from the grocery store is this one website called localharvest.org. That one's really great for finding local not farmers markets, but local farms. So that way you can connect with them. They might have farmers markets on there. It's been a while since I've checked, but localharvest.org is a really great option for finding produce that is relatively inexpensive and abundant and sometimes organic. So that's really great. WestonAprice.org is also another really wonderful resource overall. It's not just about finding food. It's just about finding nutrition advice, finding recipes, and other groups of like-minded people who are near you, and they are always available to answer any nutrition questions. So if you just email them and let them know like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, I need to find someone who sells raw milk, they will be able to send you in the right direction to find that. But speaking of raw milk, realmilk.com is the website that I used to find my raw milk. And it was really helpful because this has helped me find the best quality milk that is available to me. And originally I went on the website and I called around to a couple different places, and some people were saying, yeah, I have milk, but I don't live there anymore. And other people would tell me like, no, I don't have any milk, it's not in season. And, I was kind of getting down, but then the lady who didn't have the farm here where I live anymore, she actually gave me a number of someone nearby who does have milk. And I called her up and she wasn't even on the website. So that goes to show you that just calling these people and trying to make connections can really do a lot, because I've been buying milk from that lady who wasn't even on the website for about a year and a half. And the reason why she's not on the website is because of the fact that when you sign up for to be able to sell raw milk, that basically allows the government to come into your property whenever they want. At least in the state of Florida, this is what happened to that one lady who moved away, and she was just blown away by the whole situation. She's like, oh my God, there's people walking around in my yard. They won't leave me alone. They're harassing me because they want to check for quality standards and regulations. But it was just a way for them to spy on her and invade her privacy. So she had to move and just stop selling the milk. But that's what I'm saying. Getting a hold of these people and talking to them is going to do wonders, because you never know who you might meet. I've made a really great friend by finding someone on this website. So it's really interesting, the people that you'll meet. Eatwild.com is an option to find local meat. So instead of getting CAFO meat at the grocery store, Eatwild can definitely point you in the right direction. Farmers markets are also another really great option. And I know sometimes people are like, well, I don't have time to go to the farmer's market all the time, every single week. It's too far, it's too this, it's that. And yeah, I totally get that. But what I would recommend is buying extra produce that you could not normally consume for a week, and then cutting it up and freezing it. And that's really great. So that way you can put that in smoothies, or if you like frozen fruit, really great option to keep it fresh and delicious. Buying a whole animal. So I know this sounds really weird, but if you go to a farmer and purchase like the whole chicken or big sections of the cow, you can get really, really great deals. You do have to do a little bit of legwork to find farmers who are willing to do this, but it is so worth it. I would really recommend having a deep freezer of some sort, because if you go get sections of a cow, you can get, like, I think it's a fourth of a cow, a half a cow, a whole cow. And if you're getting a fourth of a, even if you're only getting a fourth of a cow, that's a lot of damn cow. I would really recommend getting a deep freezer, because where else are you going to put it? Especially if you are a busy family, or if you have roommates or something, or even if it's just you by yourself. I'm pretty sure having a deep freezer would come in handy. Buying cuts of meat that are not as popular can also go a long way financially. So organs are a great option. So they supply a whole array of nutrients that are not found in muscle meat. And there's a lot of books out there on eating nose to tail. And I highly recommend looking into that, because some of these regular cuts of meat that you see in the grocery store that look really appealing can be really pricey. So just looking into cuts of meat that are not as popular, like I said, maybe calling the farmer, asking them what the cheaper cuts of meat are that they offer that most people don't want. They will be happy to sell it to you. And just deep freezers, I cannot stress how much this has changed my life. They are a wonderful investment. I think that my deep freezer was, I want to say somewhere around like $270. Like, it really wasn't a whole lot of money. Not like, oh my God, that's crazy expensive. And it's already paid for itself. Not only the fact that I don't have to worry about, is this all going to fit in there? But it's so convenient. You don't have to worry about it interfering with any of the other food in your house, having to get thrown away because you don't have enough food in your freezer. Another really, really wonderful option is growing your own food and canning it. So this is something that I see a lot more people getting into, and I think that is great. So going online, buying some heirloom seeds, maybe buying heirloom seeds from someone locally in your neighborhood if that's available to you, and just growing it yourself, because you're never going to get food that's fresher than your own backyard. And it can really, really pay for itself, because, once you start growing those fruits and vegetables, you can take the seeds out of the grown food and save it for another year, another season. Single ingredient foods are always going to be, I don't want to say always, they're usually going to be cheaper than something that's prepackaged, especially something that's prepackaged and healthy. So if you're getting some bananas and you want to make banana chips and you're into that kind of stuff, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be cheaper for you to make the banana chips yourself. Now, buying organic is something that I know a lot of people say is very expensive, and absolutely, yes, it can be very expensive. But like I said, farmers markets and co-ops are usually going to be cheaper than your local Whole Foods. And you're also doing something that is great for your neighborhood and great for the local people by supporting them. And just looking for the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So what that is basically a list that the EWG Environmental Working Group designates to say that these Clean 15 are the fruits and vegetables that do not have a lot of pesticides on it. These are safe to eat conventional. And the Dirty Dozen are the 12 fruits and vegetables that they say, okay, well, these have a lot of pesticides. I would recommend buying these organic. And this can really cut your cost, because instead of buying everything organic, you can say, okay, well, what's on the list of the Clean 15? Okay, I can buy that conventionally and I won't feel like I'm harming my body as much. And the EWG.org updates this list every single year. So always be sure to check that out once they update it. And then regardless if the fruits and veggies are organic or not, it's always wise to wash them and soak them in a DIY veggie wash. So what I'll do is I will fill up the sink with water, and I'll measure out 3 parts water to 1 part white vinegar. and then add a little bit of baking soda in there, maybe like a tablespoon. I don't, of course, measure this like perfectly because the sink is ginormous and there's no way I would be able to measure that perfectly. It would be too time consuming, but I do my best. I eyeball it. It looks good. I'll soak the fruits and veggies for up to 20 minutes and then I will scrub it and rinse it. And you will see like a residue of all of this crap on top of the water once you drain it, or once you soak the veggies, and you think, oh my god, this is so gross. And I've even done this with all organic vegetables and it has the same results. This really shows you that washing your fruits and vegetables is really important, regardless if they are organic or conventional. Please wash your fruits and vegetables very thoroughly because you have no idea what's on them. How many people have handled that piece of fruit since you got it? And also just buying higher quality foods is going to keep you fuller a lot longer because of the abundance of vitamins and minerals in it. So if you're buying like a bag of Cheetos, you're probably going to be pretty darn hungry if you eat the whole bag. But if you have like apples or something, you're going to be feeling a lot better and you're not going to be needing to eat the entire bag of apples. I mean, maybe you will, but I don't think so. Shopping around at different stores can be really helpful because certain stores have certain foods that are a lot cheaper. Like for my husband and I, we will go to the store and see that certain things are much more expensive. Like for example, Target sells these fig bars for $4 and Sprouts Farmers Market sells them for $7. So that is a significant difference. And especially when it comes to long term, like I'm not super like nitpicky about like, oh, that's $1 more, you know, I'm gonna eat, like I need to eat food and I'm gonna eat something that I want to eat, so my food budget is always a little bit larger than what I think it's going to be spent. But when it comes to things like this, and I clearly see that I'm being ripped off, yeah, you're right. I'm absolutely going to go to Target to get my $4 fig bars rather than my $7 fig bars. So it's just little things like that and paying attention to the numbers and really seeing like, okay, well, what is this place charging and what is that? We don't shop at one grocery store. We shop at 4 different stores. And this has been really helpful because, you know, it does save money. And we also shop a lot less than most people. We shop 2 times a month. We will run to the store occasionally for certain things, but I'm talking about filling up grocery carts, and the majority of our shopping is done twice a month. Occasionally we will go to Publix or something to pick up some little thing that we forgot and maybe spend like $20. But other than that, all of our shopping is done twice a month because I don't feel like going to the store. I don't feel like shopping and going, there's just something about grocery shopping. Like I just want to get it done. It's not something that I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. I mean, I love the food and all, but just the whole outing of going grocery shopping, like there's better things that I can be doing. And this really does help you track your expenses a lot more. Oh, and when I shop, I pull out cash. I will always pull out cash for the groceries because this helps me keep track of just exactly how much I'm spending. And if I go over the budget for that shopping trip, I'll be like, okay, no, I can't spend that much. Like, let me put something back that I don't need. And I also shop on this one website where they send you like your raw cream and your raw dairy and all kinds of good foods. So, you know, that you have to take those little things into consideration as well, because, you know, you say, oh, okay, well, I spent $100 at this store. Oh, well, shoot, I still have to spend, you know, 40 at this other place. And, you know, just little examples like that and little things that really help you keep track of where the money's going, and just making sure that, you know, cash, to me, cash is king. I love cash. I think you really can manage your money a lot better. And this is another really big one that I see a lot of people doing. I'm very guilty of this at times. I've gotten much better, don't get me wrong, but I'm still guilty of it at times, and that is wasting food. So, you know, you have leftovers in the refrigerator. Don't throw them out. Don't let them get wasted. Don't keep cooking a bunch of food and pushing the leftovers to the back. Eat the leftovers, because that is money that is being wasted. We also do have a dog, so any leftovers that I feel are not going to be eaten by me or my husband and that I feel are suitable for our dog, we will give it to the dog because, dogs were originally, they ate table scraps. They didn't eat kibble. And, what's the harm? If I had some leftover chicken or chicken broth or something that looks good, but I just don't feel like eating, Juno can have it. Here you go. She doesn't mind either. Cooking at home versus going out. This is such a big one that is underestimated because when you are cooking at home, not only do you know the ingredients that are going in your food, but it's significantly cheaper. And like I said at the beginning of this episode about how, a typical meal is anywhere from $30 to $50 every time you go out, that adds up very quickly. And for my husband and I, $30 a day versus $30 for one meal, that's huge. Like that's huge. And this is why my husband and I don't go out to eat rarely ever unless we are traveling or on the go and we really are hungry and we need some food. But, maybe once a month we'll go out to eat at a restaurant. But ever since I started cooking, I just don't care for the taste of restaurant food. I think it's cheap. I've always had stomach aches after I eat something at the restaurant. I'm sure that's because of all the vegetable oil and natural flavors and MSG and all that other crap that they put in it. But just cooking at home is not only going to be better for your wallet, better for you. And then this doesn't have much to do with food and buying organic anymore, but I did want to talk about some of the ways that I personally save money to make sure that my food budget is going to be what I want it to be. So I don't buy makeup. I stopped buying makeup many years ago. I've never been a makeup fan. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way it makes me look. I don't like the toxins in it. And organic makeup is too expensive for my taste if I'm only going to wear it once or twice a year. I also cut my own hair. I cut my husband's hair. And I also do all of my dog's grooming as well. So cutting my own hair and cutting my husband's hair, like he was getting a haircut every 6 weeks and it was costing him almost $30 because of, inflation and where we live. And he just liked the way she cut his hair. So he would give her a nice tip. And I was like, oh my God, this is getting so expensive. And that's why I never went to get my hair cut because it was just an expense that I didn't care for. So I started cutting my own hair. I started looking up tutorials and it was just like, okay, wow, this is great. Like this is so easy. Sometimes I get frustrated and I yell when I'm cutting my hair, but it's all good. My hair always looks fine in the end. And if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. I also do a lot of my own mechanic work to my job. And I know that this is not an option to many people, but if you can do your own mechanic work, do it because the mechanics will rip you off, as I'm sure you know. And I've saved thousands and thousands of dollars by just doing my work myself. I'll go on rockauto.com and I'll buy the parts and then I'll just replace whatever needs to be replaced or fix whatever needs to be fixed. And, I've taken my car to the dealership and the mechanic before, and every time I bring it back, something is always screwed up. And it pisses me off because, you're paying someone hundreds of dollars to fix your car and it comes back and it drives like crap. And, these people can't lie to me. I know what I'm talking about when I talk about cars. And it just irks me because, they're all so sexist and they got that macho vibe about them. And I don't know, everything about working on your car is just, it can be very rewarding if it's not, an impossible job. I also thrift my clothes and I thrift my furniture. So anything that isn't gross, like a mattress or underwear, I will thrift. So there's this one thrift store that I go to, and for 2 jumbo trash bags, like I'm talking jumbo trash bags, I got clothes for myself and my husband for like $200. And like I haven't gone clothes shopping in years. So this was huge for me. I was so excited that I was able to get thrifted clothes and they were all so good looking. So if you have a thrift store, definitely go there and check out what they have to offer because new clothing is so overpriced. And also for furniture, I pick up a lot of furniture on the side of the road. And I know that sounds so funny, but I found some really great things in really wonderful shape. And, people really throw things out that don't need to be thrown out. So always keeping a lookout if you need some furniture, look on the side of the road, go to really nice neighborhoods and see what is being thrown out on trash day. You never know what you might find. Also for books, I will thrift my books from this one online website called abebooks.com, abebooks.com. And I found a lot of great success with this because I think I got somewhere around like 6 books and it was $40. Where else are you going to get 6 books for $40? I mean, some of the books were around $3, $4, $5. So great deals. I highly recommend going to check them out because it's like nothing else that you're going to get. And also libraries too. Libraries are another great option. It just kind of sucks because you don't have access to that book once you return it or you rent it and digitally give it back. So yeah, if you want to get books and you're not a fan of spending all the money on the books, abebooks.com is someplace. It's a website I really recommend. I also don't go out to eat very often, like I said, or spend my money on things like concerts and fancy hotels, but we do a lot of biking and hiking and walking and hanging with friends and just really fun and free activities. So just finding joy in the things that are already around you and not having to pay money for things it can help a lot financially. I also make my own cleaners, so I'll mix like baking soda and some vinegar and clean some things with that, or some Castile soap. And there's all kinds of DIY stuff online. Definitely check it out. It's going to be significantly cheaper and healthier than a lot of the stuff that you get in the store. The only downside is sometimes you have to make the cleaning solution right then and there because it will go rancid or bad or something, but there's a lot of recipes that don't. But just be wary if some of them do. Like, definitely take that into consideration because I hate those recipes that make you throw it away after. I also repair a lot of my clothing, so I have an old sewing machine that I used to use a lot, and it still works. And if I have a snag in my shirt or something, I will just sew it up and make it good as new. I also make my own beauty products because I find that this is cheaper for some things. Like, I don't like the way that deodorant feels unless I make it myself. I feel like it makes me stink and it doesn't do anything. So deodorant, I will make my own face creams and hand lotions, and I feel like this is really, really helpful because they charge a lot of money for that kind of stuff when you can just do it on your own. And most of the time they will put a lot of toxic preservatives and endocrine disruptors in these lotions and beauty products. So making your own stuff can be significantly helpful for saving money. Well, it looks like I'm coming up on the 30-minute mark, so if you like my podcast, let me know. If you have any comments or questions, my Instagram is Megan Garza Wellness. Don't forget to download my freebie in my link tree on my Instagram, and topic suggestions are always welcome, so feel free to send me a message on my Instagram or through my website. Thanks so much for tuning into my podcast, Restoring Balance. Be sure to check back next week for the next topic.